Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Brother Brand Ambassador Angela Wolf here, and it is so nice to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. I definitely did here too. Actually, it was a long week. It was my fishing vacation of the summer. So you might have noticed last week's shows were pre-recorded, but today we're live. So I can see all of you, and I love it when I pop in to load the cameras, and all of you are already here. So welcome to the party. Today, excuse me, today you just have me because I have a super fun project for you. All right. I came up with this idea because I have a ton of t-shirts, especially after being out fishing. You get a t-shirt at every tournament. For I would say I have 25 years of these and I don't want to get rid of them, and I'm not a big quilter. So I've always said maybe I'll make a quilt or something, but I thought what would be more fun than making a little cover up with these t-shirts. So we're refashioning shirts today. Now, I actually am using just a plain colored shirt. I thought it'd be easier for you to see, what's going on. Plus, all of my fishing shirts have logos all over it for all the sponsors, which are not Brother. So I didn't want to throw those on here. So you're like, where did you get that shirt? So I found these. These are men's t-shirts. I went to a shop the other day. They had a clearance rack. I actually bought them to cut them up, but I thought it'd be a good practice. So see this little one next to me? It's oversized. This is actually a really nice fabric. It's kind of a sportswear fabric. So I think it'll be breathable. I'm going to use the Artspira app to add some embroidery. But today we're going to focus on how do you take this t-shirt, cut it up, and make a really cute shirt. So I have a few of these coming down the pipe for you, but today this is going to be fun. So all you need is a t-shirt, any size. It doesn't matter. You can size it down however much you need. Just make sure you can get it over your head and it's wide enough, all right? And you have an option. I'm just going to use the cover stitch. If you have a cover stitch, a serger, sewing machine, any of those will be fine. But today I'm going to use the cover stitch. And I know a lot of you have the Brother cover stitch machine, the double cover stitch. So why not use it? This is going to be so simple. And of course, you can jazz it up however you want to. So I'll make sure you can all see me and hear me. And yes, you can. I see you all saying hello. And it's great to see you. We're live streaming on Brother Sewing Facebook and YouTube pages. So it's just me today. So if I miss one of your questions or comments, just throw it in when I come back up. So let's get started. And by the way, it's great to see you all. I have to give you one more quick love. I posted a couple of photos of the fish that I caught, and those were not photoshopped. Those were real. But for some reason, we caught all the fish on the pre-fishing days. Ugh. Oh well, back to sewing. All right, so here I have another t-shirt, same thing. It's just a boxy t-shirt. It's not the raglan style, although you could use the raglan style for this top. But I just picked a regular t-shirt. I figured that would be easy for all of you to see. So let's head over to the table and I'll meet you over there. Yeah, this is going to be super cute. I think Win might be in trouble because I'm probably going to end up taking a couple of his t-shirts because this is going to be like a loose, flowy top. Yeah, but it's going to be fun. All right. You can hear my flip-flops. So here we have just a nice shirt. I was mentioning the fabric. Take a quick look. See how nicely this lays? For this top that I'm thinking, I wouldn't use something out of a stiffer fabric. I don't even think I would use cotton unless you cut it on the bias, and that's a whole different lesson. So again, we're just recycling t-shirts, which are usually softer. So a cotton t-shirt is different than, like, I'm thinking don't use quilting cotton. Use cotton t-shirt's fine. If it has a little stretch, that's even better. So this fabric, just in case you're wondering, it doesn't say. Might say on this side. I'm guessing it's a polyester, but it's that sportswear polyester. Yeah, it's polyester. But it has where you can kind of see through it, like a mesh. All right. This is going to be really simple. I actually saw one of these, a top very similar to this, on the Brother blog. I think they posted it this week over on Instagram. So when I'm finished, I'll refer you over there if you want to make something similar to this. All right, the first thing you want to do, let's get rid of the sleeves. We don't need them. Any special way? Nope, just cut them off. One sleeve off. Might want to save the fabric because you could use it for some other little projects that we've done in the past. And when it comes to the neck binding, one option is piecing together the fabric from the sleeves. Although that sounds like a lot of work to me. All right, make sure you have the front and the back off. You could use the rotary cutter too if you want, whichever one. Whatever you feel like. Sleeve number 2 off. All right. Hey, that's a cute tank top. That's a little hint as to what we're doing in one of the next lessons, but this one's a whole remake. All right, now, that's a pretty big area here if you put this on. So I'm just going to keep cutting and show you what's going to happen here. But if you put this on right now, this would be way, 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 way down on the side seams. But don't fret. The next thing I want to do is cut off the neck binding. You can use this neck binding if you want to. So I'm just going to cut one layer, giving myself a little bit of a seam allowance here. Because this can fit over your head, right? It sure can. So why have to go out and get some more fabric for the neck piece for this? And for those of you that have followed me for a really long time, I'll give you a little hint. Do you remember the green velvet tank top that I made, oh gosh, eons ago? It was so cute. It was a crushed velvet. I wore it for a holiday party with a black leather skirt. Very cute. All right, so here's my neck binding. The reason I left a little seam allowance here, because I could turn this under and use this for the neck piece. It's totally your option, but neck piece, finished. Another area that you can use for the neck piece, which you'll see where that's going to come in handy, is if the t-shirt's too long, you can cut all the way across the hem and use this for the neck binding. So you're probably like, what's the neck binding? What's it for? Well, you'll see. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'll bring this over to the dress form so you can see what this is going to look like. All right. You have your scissors in hand? You probably don't need some this big, but it works. Okay, so let's just bring Shirley up here and let's cut this tank top right on the dress form. Okay. Remember when I mentioned, look at how low this armhole is. Whoa, that's really low. Doesn't matter. We're not even going to use it. So the front piece is we're going to cut right across here and gather it. So I'm just going to cut. I'm cutting straight across the neckline all the way to the other side. You can lay this. You'd probably be cutting this on your cutting table so you can make sure it's straight. This is all going to be gathered. Are you getting the idea? It's going to be so cute. Now, oh gosh, I could think of about 10 different shirts to make out of this. Well, we'll stick to the basics today. No squirrel action going on. All right, let me take my name off here so it's not stuck in your face. There you go. Somebody pops in, you don't know who I am. Well, someone will help you out. Okay, so this is straight across. I want to do the same thing to the back. So let me just stick a pin in here to hold this up for now. Go to the back side. I want to do the same thing. Now, the only difference for the back is I can cut this a little higher because you literally want a straight line going from shoulder to shoulder. So let's hack it. Make sure you can see what I'm cutting. This is absolutely my favorite thing to do in the studio. Cut fabric on the dress forms. Piece it together, go to my fabulous brother machines and embroider all over it. I'm working on a couple cute outfits right now, which I will reveal in August. All right, finished. We don't need that anymore. So the front, we have this, and the back, we have this. We're going to go to the ironing board. But picture this folded over, cover stitched, and all scrunched in the back, right? Look at how high the armhole is now. Yay. I told you you wouldn't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to pin this in place and show you at the front. Picture this, folded over and all scrunched. Is this going to be the cutest top ever? Oh yeah. And we're going to finish the edges so it looks professional. Okay. So hold tight. I'm going to take you over to the ironing board. I think where is the ironing board? That camera's not on. Well, let's go here while I move you to the ironing board. I don't want you to get seasick. You're getting a beautiful view of my brother Luminaire over there. All right. I know everyone always thinks I'm a pressing freak, but I am, and that's really what makes your garment look professional. So here we go. And you didn't even have to get seasick watching me move all that around. I agree, Karen. I know, Patty. I can't help it. Oh, gosh. And Patty, you just never know. Oh, Esther, yes, the airflow is over there. Oh, my gosh. Leave a comment if you have the airflow surgery yet. Or if it's on your bucket list. Because I'll tell you what, that surgery is amazing. Okay, so take a closer look at what I have. Here's the front. Wowzer, did I do some messy cutting? Okay, let me grab the choppers. Let's cut this thing up. We need to make it straight. So instead of taking you all the way back to the cutting table, we'll just cut this a little straighter. I'm not quite that crazy. Well, maybe, but you probably maybe have seen this, a similar top where they call it the pillowcase top. So, yeah, you could technically take a pillowcase and do this. I thought that would be too boring. I don't want to cut a pillowcase on my dress form. Okay, so now it's straight. What are we going to do about these armholes, though? Well, you need a little bit more of a curve here in order to run this through the cover stitch machine. So let's go ahead and cut this just a little bit more of a curve at the bottom for under your arm. See what I'm doing there? There's no science to this, but if you picture your arm going in here, if it's a point, that might be a little uncomfortable. And this is so much easier to run through the cover stitch. So that's one side. And next you're going to do is tuck this under. I'll start at the bottom, underarm. Tuck this under a little bit. How much? About ½ inch. All right, grab your iron. If you have a tailor's clapper, grab that too. Now, my iron has an iron shoe on the bottom of it. I'm sure you've heard me talk about that before. If you have an iron shoe, it looks like this. You can also find some in paper, not paper, but kind of, well, it is kind of feel like paper. There are a lot of different versions of this. Not a Brother product, but just check your local store and sewing store. You can message me if you need help finding this. But because I have that, I can press right on this knit fabric, which normally would burn. So press a little bit. I'm still using Mary's clapper. So Mary, if you're watching, it's getting a lot of use. She'll be going back to school here soon. So I have to get it to her before she leaves. All right, I'm just going around that curve. You can kind of see what I meant about this is so much better when you have more of a curve than a point. All right, let's go back up this side here. I'm giving it a little steam. Pressing this before you run it through the cover stitch will just make your day so much happier, your sewing day. Because now what the clapper does is it makes a crease. See how nicely this is? Look at that. Now I can run this. See that pressed edge? When I go to the cover stitch, I just fold this under and run it through. I don't have to worry about the fabric twisting or ending up like a little crazy there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you've never tried to just fold this under and run it through cover stitch. Now, the way we're making this top, there's no need to stabilize this area. This is your underarm. There's no need to. You don't need to put clear elastic, anything like that. All right. So, by the way, I know a lot of you watching I've seen at different events through the years. So, while I was hanging out for a week on a boat, I decided to go through my 5 million pictures on my phone. And I'm serious. There's so many, but I found so many pictures with some of you, many of you, many, 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 that my new thing starting this week is I'm going to post a fan photo of the Fan Friday. So every Friday, I'm going to post a photo. You never know when your face might pop up in my Instagram because I never shared so many of these. And some of you, I don't have your phone numbers. I can't send you the photos. So I thought we should share them. Every Friday is Fan Friday. Meaning that if you have any photos on your phone that I haven't seen, where I met you at an event, any of these years, what is that, like 20 years now? Not really, maybe like 15, that you should post them on Friday too and tag me so I can see them. All right, we're getting there. I left the yellow thread in the cover stitch machine simply because you'll be able to see it better on here. But blue and yellow looks really good on the boat. All right, a little more steam. We're almost finished. This fabric can be really, really finicky when it's a polyester. It's just so slippery. Cotton's much easier, like a cotton knit tee or a rayon knit tee. Oh gosh, I just saw one of you say, yeah, I found photos and I've added them everywhere. So there's my husband and I on a date a long time ago, in case you're wondering what the heck. I just thought somebody say, who's on your phone? Oh, and I added them all to his phone too. I don't think he was excited as I was, so I had to change a couple. All right, so here we have our front and our back. There's our pressed edge. We're going to run that through the cover stitch machine. Now, did you leave a comment if the airflow serger is on your bucket list, or do you have one? Because I'm sure brother would love to know that. Oh, Karen, your first clapper should be there Saturday. Awesome. I think after the last show, some of you ordered clappers from me and wanted them signed. So I just got back. So if you ordered after I left on vacation, they'll be going out tomorrow. All right, you can see over here okay? Make sure I'm on the right camera. Fantastic. Okay. Start at one end, the top or the back, it doesn't matter. I have the edge folded over. I have this set up for just is this a narrow? Yeah, narrow overlock. How do I know it's narrow? Well, because I'm using the right needle and the middle needle. I could use all 3 needles, and I could use the double overlock. That would look cool on here. But I'm just using what I have it set up for. Notice I did not start at the very edge of the fabric. You don't want that fabric to get stuck underneath the foot. Not saying that's going to happen, but there's a high probability when it's a slinky fabric like this. Now, what if you don't have a cover stitch? No big deal. You could use one of those fabulous decorative stitches that you have on your brother's sewing machine. You could use a zigzag stitch. You could even use a twin needle. That would look good. All right. See how nice that looks? And this is a different color. So the back side looks like this and the front side looks like this. It has a little stretch. Now, while we're there, I like to save time. So I'm just going to slide over my underarm, my other arm, and let's just keep rolling on this. I know this looks great, doesn't it? Now there's really no need to tie this off, the stitch off. It's going to be tucked under anyways, but I'll go ahead and show you how I do this, just in case this is your first time with the cover stitch. Oops, I moved my scissors. Hold on one sec. That's what I get for cleaning before I left. All right, so you take your top 2 threads here, these 2, trim right here, give her a little tug. They all go to the back side. You're all good to go. And I'm ready to start again. But next we need to go back to the ironing board. Before I head there though, I'm going to check in to see if there's any questions. Any questions so far on what's happening here? So far we have, there's our back, there's our front. Why is it connected? Because remember I said I just ran the one underarm through and then kind of kept it going. There you go. We find another big pair of monstrous scissors. All right, so that's what we have so far. One underarm and the other. And this is what that covers. That isn't that pretty? And then the back side looks like this. Yeah, fun. All right. The next part, you have a few different options. So I'll take you to the tape. Well, we'll go to the ironing board. That'll be easier and show you. Oh, you got the bucket list. Oh, Darlene. Yes, maybe. Check with your brother dealer. I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll try to pay attention when they do the big sales, just so you know. Any other questions for me before? Hey, Joy, that is the CV, oh gosh, the double cover stitch, 3550. I'll check when I'm over there. I always forget the number. It's the double cover stitch from Brother. Okay. I don't see any others, so we're good. No, Anna, I'm not stretching as I sew. You're literally, looks like I missed one little spot here. I'm just going to leave it for now, but you want to make sure that you catch that under edge. For now, the project's going to keep rolling. I'm not ripping out. But no stretching. You're letting the machine run the fabric through and do the stitches. Do not stretch. Otherwise, you'll have a wavy underarm. That wouldn't be very attractive. Thanks, Esther. I do it. Yeah, Joy, that's the machine. That is the machine. Brother. Esther just put it up for you. CV3550. That's a cover stitch machine. Okay? All right, let's go back to the ironing board. And I'll show you your options that you have with this. So remember this part that we cut off? I can either use this for the neck bind. I could use part of the hem. You have a lot of options. You could use ribbon. I don't like ribbon unless it's really soft though, because that wouldn't be very soft. Imagine this is going around your neck, right? So here's the back side. Looks like I missed a lot on there. I'll have to go back and fix that, but I'm not doing it right now. So let's fold this under. How far do you fold this under? Well, it depends how wide your ribbon is. So if I'm using this, let's just say I fold this under, and this is how wide my neck binding is going to be. Then it's going to need to be at least this wide, because this will be in here, if that makes sense. To be safe, I like to fold this under almost an inch. So I have an inch marking on my ironing board here. Because once I cover stitch this, it leaves about 3/4 of an inch to run a ribbon through. Make sense? So I'm not going to use the binding, but I'm going to explain how to use it if that's what you want to do. I'm going to show you a little trick on the serger, the airflow serger next, but how to make a really cool tie for this out of the same fabric. All right, so there's, what is that, my back? Okay. And by the way, in case I didn't mention it, we are running this through the cover stitch machine using the right side of the fabric. Now that I know I have to go back and fix one of these sides, it won't be a big deal. But I didn't even notice it when you're trying to lean over a camera and stitch. We always get a little bit of a pass when we're actually live, right? If this was recorded and edited, well, then I don't get a pass. All right, I'm folding this over about an inch again. We'll go back to the cover stitch and slide this through. Now, if you're using this neck binding to hold everything in, you have an option. You can tuck this under. So that raw edge that I had, I would just tuck this under and run it through the cover stitch. If you trim this off, you're just going to have an empty, you don't want just a raw edge sticking out. It has to look nice on all the sides. So you already have this side that looks fine. So I'm just curious, what would you guys do? Would you just fold this over and do a nice cover stitch? Because then both sides look great. That's actually what I would probably do. So if you do that, you'll have to try this on over your head. So come and take a look at the dress form real quick. Because this top, you have to hold this top up. All right, so is that going to be too low? Or how high do you want it? It stretches, so it'll go over your head. So if I were going to use this, I would literally flip under this raw edge, do a cover stitch. It will match beautifully. And I would just cut it off in the back side so I can slide it through. Now, if you do that, then you're like, well, how am I going to finish that edge? Well, I'll give you some ideas on it. All right? Fold over and cover stitch. That's what I would do, Karina. That's what I'm thinking. You're right, Patty. You're right. Hey, Phyllis. Great to see you. All right, back to the ironing board. There's our folds. Let's take these to the cover stitch machine. I'll slide this over just a little bit so you can see the whole machine. I thought you could, but you can't. So again, for those of you wondering, this is the cover stitch machine, Brother Cover Stitch CV3550. It has these other two attachments here that will do a double cover stitch. I have a lot of videos on that, probably on Brother's YouTube page and mine, which will make it look kind of like this on both sides. It's really cool if you make a lot of athletic wear. All right. Start one side. This time, I just want to stitch right on the edge of this fold. So I'm folding from the right side. How do you know where you're going to go with your stitch? Well, if you look closely at the machine, there is a ruler guide right here. And if you look at the foot, there's 3 little knobs here, which you probably can't see from that camera angle. Let's see if I can bring you a little closer. There's the ruler guide. And there are 3 little notches on the front of this foot. Each notch correlates with the needles. So I know I'm using the right 2 needles. So I know that my needle is going to go down right here, which is right close to the edge of that fold on the back side. Make sense? So when I stitch this, my eye is not focused on my needles. I'm focused over here to make sure that this sews straight. Make sense? All right. Starting just off the edge, but not on the edge. And your beginning of your cover stitch will not pull out. So you don't have to back stitch. This machine doesn't back stitch anyways, just stitch. Do you ever have skip stitches when you use a cover stitch, just out of curiosity? Because if you do, one of the easiest things to do to fix that, to start at least, to troubleshoot, is to change your needles. I've even gone as far as, depending on the knit that I'm using, sometimes knits can really be a pill, literally. And so what I'll do is I will change the needle, and sometimes I'll use a stretch needle. All right, my needles are in the up position, pulling my threads out. You might have something a little fancier than a pencil, but that's what I use. I'm cutting only the top 2 threads here. Let me bring you closer. Top 2 threads, I'm leaving about 1 inch. Tug it to the back side, and voila. This is going to be so cute. All right, that's a little piece I have to fix later. And by ripping out this cover stitch is about the easiest thing you'll ever do. It's kind of like a chain stitch. Once you find the one edge that you'll pull a thread and the whole thing will come off. All right, let's do this side. Again, my eye is focused over here. I didn't even have to flip it under. I just made it to the same marking. It's just under 1 inch that I'm stitching. Needles in the up position. Lift up your handle over here. You can't see that. Go over here. I lifted up the handle. And then again, pull this out. Cover stitch machine is not the same as a serger. I see somebody asking that. No, a serger is different. Now, this does cover stitch. It does wide cover stitch, narrow cover stitch, a triple cover stitch, a double cover stitch in all of those narrow, wide, and triple. And it also does a chain stitch. Have any of you tried the chain stitch? I've used it for sewing jean waistbands and stuff like that. So doesn't that look nice? And guess what? It stretches. So it has a really nice hand to go with the fabric. So now when this is kind of scrunched in together, that's going to drape beautifully. All right. Back to the ironing board. Okay, this looks great. And then let's check this side. This side looks great too. So this is where I started my stitches. I can just trim that off. Now on the back side, if you have some excess fabric like this, you can trim that off if you want. It's not going to get in the way. And the fabric won't fray because you've already stitched this. So you do not need to run this through the serger first and then the cover stitch. So we're almost finished. The last thing we need to do is come up with the neck binding. Now, if your shirt's really long, you could take the hem out and use a piece of this for making a really cool necktie. And I'll show you how to do that. But first, your other option is to finish this one off. You know, I have an idea. I wonder. So again, if you missed the first part, you could fold this under. That's going to be kind of thick though. I have an idea. Changing my mind. What about, since this fits so nice, let's trim off. I don't know if it'll work though. Oh, let's just try it. So I'm cutting off the seam allowance. And you know what that's going to leave me with? Like a really skinny spaghetti strap. Oh, I like that. I have to pick off some of the cover stitch up on here. Yeah, that's what they use to finish necklines, a cover stitch. Sometimes they'll serge it first and then cover stitch it down. It just depends. So let's open this up all the way. Because we know it's going to stretch. This was cut across, right? And if you want to add something really cool, you could just leave it like this. Or I'm going to cut right here. Let's cut this center back piece off. So a couple more little stitches here I got to take out. I think this will work. It's really thin fabric. If it doesn't, you'll get the idea on this cute lesson I'm going to teach you. So there's my fabric. If I want to run this through, you want to have the edges finished, right? This is about an inch wide? Yeah, about an inch wide. Good guess, right? Well, I've been staring at fabric my whole life. I could tell you it was an inch. So now I'm going to turn this wrong side together, and we're going to run it through the serger. I have a little trick for you on that, though. All right, so hold tight. I just have to move you over here just a little bit. Okay, quick question. Have you ever made spaghetti straps with a serger? The reason I ask you that is because if you've taken any of my classes, I think I show it in every single class. It's one of my favorite things. You know those itsy bitsy spaghetti straps that you see? Like, how did they sew that and flip that? Well, it's all in one step with the serger. So we're going to take this with right sides together, run it through the serger, but the first thing you have to do is make a super long tail with the serger to be able to do that. Once you have that long tail, you'll run it through and you can pull that thread and turn it into, voila, a little tie to hold up your top, and it matches. So I'm just curious if you've ever tried that. I don't think there's a technical name for it except making really cute skinny. Terry, yes, a chain stitch is great for fitting because you can rip it out in one quick thing. Oh, Deborah, yeah, there are some machines that have a serger and a cover stitch. All right, back over. Yes, it's super fun when I get to see you guys live. Okay, so I have this machine set up with a 4-thread overlock. I don't want that 4 threads. See how it has 4 threads here? So I'm going to cut off the left one here. Lift this up, pull out that right thread, and remove that needle. You only need a 3-thread narrow overlock for this, is what I'm trying to explain. I use a 4-thread more for stability when I'm working on like maybe my leggings, things like that. So let me just open this up. It's very easy to remove the needle. Turn the machine off. It's always a good idea to turn the machine off when you're removing a needle. Slide that. I know my hand's in the way, but I have to hold on to the needle. There we go. My needle's out. I always put it right back into the little carrying box that came with the airflow. And all my needles in here are the same size, so I don't need to mark it. If it wasn't, I'd want to put it in a piece of fabric or tape it to something so I know what size it is, because my little eyes, well, not that my eyes are little, but I can't read the little numbers on these needles. All right, and you always want to tighten that screw back up after you loosened it. All right, put it in the box. We're good to go. By the way, if you do have a serger, this serger or the other brother serger, or if you're in the serger, if you have this machine, the airflow, make sure you register it on Brother's website, because you'll have free access to a class that I did with Kathy Gandy and Kathy Stipe, and it has 14 serger lessons. Like, you hang out with us for 14 weeks, and it has a lesson and a project with every single chapter, which is awesome. So what we just did with that top, we could have actually done a blind stitch. That would have looked really cool to finish the edges there too. All right, turn this back on. Let's take this off because we're not using it. So again, we're set up for a 3-thread overlock stitch, and right needle. I always like to do a little test. Oh, while we're testing, I need a chain that's longer than this piece here. So keep stitching. I'm not pulling, I'm just guiding this, okay? Bring it a little closer so you can see. All right, are we quite long enough yet? Almost. So let's see now. If I hold this up. Almost. I need just a little bit more. You know, this strap that I'm doing, Fashion Sewing Club, we've been making these really cute skirts. This right here would make a really cool tie inside the skirt to coordinate with your skirt. We're working on one right now that's kind of a sporty look to it. So just gave me an idea. All right, so there's my long chain. Is it long enough? Plenty long. I've got plenty long, longer than that tie that I have. And I'm just using the same length because of whatever was on my neckline. If you decide to use something else, maybe you want a long tie to attach for your top, use whatever you want to. This is just a cool idea. So there is my chain. See that? Bring it a little closer. And this is the right side of the fabric. Fold this with right sides together. Slippery little sucker. Okay, now I don't really want to cut off any of the fabric, but I don't need to lower my knife. So you want to make sure, I'll bring you just over here just a little bit more. Make sure that this is right along that folded edge. So right sides are in there. This is the wrong side of the fabric facing up. See how it's looking. No, I'm not stretching the fabric as it will run through the machine without stretching. You should not stretch your fabric when you go through, unless you're trying to do like a lettuce edge or something crazy like that. Which a lettuce edge hem on this shirt would be super adorable. Okay, we're just about done. Again, making sure that this chain is inside. You're not serging over it. Serge off. And I'll just trim that. Don't trim the one that you made super long. This is just trimming off of my serger. All right. I can get you out just a little bit here, so we don't have to move tables. Okay. Here we go. This is the long chain that you had. Start to pull that. I'm pulling. You know what? I'll bring you to the table. I don't think you're going to be able to see as good. So hold tight there. Hold tight. Take a look at the beautiful machine while I bring you back to the table, because that's where we'll finish this top anyways. I just don't think I can bring that camera far enough over for you to see that. Okay. Table is looking good. Oh, Darlene, you should try it. It's really fun. Hey Terry, it's just regular serger thread. I don't think, yeah, I don't have woolly poly or woolly nylon in. Thanks, Doris. Hey Shirley, good news is the replay's always there as soon as we're not live. But at least you made for part of it. Okay. Yeah, you can see this much better. Straighten you up. So give it a little tug and see how it starts to gather at the top. Sometimes I have to wet my fingers just a little bit to get it going. Pulling. You just don't want to break this thread. It shouldn't break. You have 3 threads on there, for heaven's sakes, right? For the chain stitch, but it could, depending on how tricky your fabric is. See how this end, it's kind of like a worm, a snake shedding its skin. Yeah. My roommate in college had a snake. That was like the grossest thing ever when it would do that. Oh, okay. Look, voila. She's done. There's my beautiful spaghetti strap. It'll stretch a little bit. Okay, is that the coolest thing ever? And now we're done. Now for the ends, I could either tuck these in and do a little stitch if I want to hide these, which that's what I'll probably do. Sometimes I'll just cut this and leave it. It pretty much won't fray, but you want to secure it somehow. Now, for the next part. So here's our top. I don't even remember which side was the front and the back anymore. I think the back was higher though. Yeah. So you want to put one of your beautiful tags in here with your name on it. And you just grab the tool that we use this. Have you guys been watching some of the other live shows? A couple Wednesdays ago, we're making the Delilah top, and I think I used it there. No idea what it's called. It's not a Brother product. I bought it over 20 years ago at a sewing convention. Okay, or you could use safety pin, whatever your way is to pull this through the top. All right. Start with the back. Now, because I'm using the neck binding, I'll try this on before I decide if I'm going to just sew these together and keep them as just a binding that just kind of goes over your head, or if I decide to use it as a tie. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's this side. Now we'll go through this side. Oh, I know when we did this. This was on the Brothers show when we did the mesh beach bag, which I got a ton of use out of last week for my sunscreen, my phone. Okay, for now, I'm just going to tie this. But I'll ideally, once I know how tight I want this, I could slide this together, put a stitch over it, and then slide this into the backside so you don't see it. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go to the serger. Let's just finish that edge real quick. I can always make it tighter after the live show because I'm not trying it on here. That would be a little awkward. Okay. There's the serger. Right now it's on a 3-thread overlock. You could use a sewing machine, straight stitch for this, whatever you want. So I have both ends. Make sure that they're not twisted. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew this with the sewing machine later on, but that's the idea. Sew those together. That didn't work out very well with a 3-thread. You really want to use a straight stitch to keep it together because this is holding up your entire top. If this comes undone, that will be a whole different Fan Friday, right? All right, so serge together. I'm going to hide this into the back. So let's see, which one was the back? The longer one. This is the back right here. So as I slide this through, there. You know, that was a brilliant way to finish this. I didn't even have to cut the hem off. I was just worried that the shirt was going to be too short. Okay, this is going to be so cute. Let's go take a look at on the dress form. Okay. Making sure if you have any questions, throw them in now because now I can see there are a slew of comments. So I'll go back and read all of these tonight, but if you have a question you want me to answer, throw it up there now. So now you can't see the edge of the top. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. And I like the yellow with it. I have a really cute, well, how many yellow tops have we made lately? A lot. I still have to post a photo of my Delilah. Well, I'll just wear it on the live show tomorrow. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's so cute. Let's see if I can make Shirley a little taller here. There we go. Wrong button. Oh, I must have something wrong. As long as it doesn't land on my toes, we're good. Oh my goodness, is this the cutest top you've ever... Woo! Shirley does not want to be tall today. I didn't mean to scream. Hopefully I didn't blow your ears out on that one. It scared me. All right. Look at this top. Oh my goodness. So it drapes nice. The sides look great. Let's see what the underarm looks like. Fantastic. So you'd have to do a little bit of work. Make sure you scrunch this up tightly. And now you can see why I was talking about it's really important what fabric you use, because look at how beautifully this drapes. And seriously, this top, this t-shirt, it was, I can't tell you what store, but search for sales. It was buy one, get one free, and I paid $14. So that's $7 a shirt. This looks way more expensive than a $7 shirt. And do any of you play tennis? This would be super cute to go over your sports bra or something like that. So here we go. What do you think? I'm thinking it's really cute. All right, any questions for me? This was a super fun hour. I love it. Oh, thanks, Bev. You do need to sew this. You totally need to sew this. I think so too, Susie. I chose a different color just so you guys could see it, but I think that looks really sporty. Now, if I did the double cover stitch, that would look even cooler on here. And then the sides, I don't have a low armhole now. The back looks fantastic. It drapes. Now, what I want to know is, are you going to make this? Because if you do, please tag me, tag #BrotherSews as well. But what I want to know, even though Shirley won't stay up, let's see. You know what? Wynn was playing with these earlier, not literally. He was helping me move them around. I must have one thing in there. I think I have one thing set wrong. So if I lift Shirley up for a second, what are you going to do with the hem? Are you just going to leave it drape like that, which is really cute? Are you going to add a lettuce edge? Are you going to add some elastic to it? How are you going to finish the hem? This shirt's already hemmed, so I'm done. That's how I'm going to wear it. Super, super cute. But I'd love to know how you're going to do it. All right. I'm just going to check and make sure that I don't miss any questions. Doris. Yeah, don't use water-soluble thread. All right. Did Carol have a question? I see somebody say, did I answer your question? Let's see. I know, Patty. Isn't that cool? All right. If I missed your question, you can always message me too. But I think I don't see any others. Hey, Carol, what was your question? Ask it again. I didn't see it. Thanks, Phyllis. I love it too. Cute and easy. Susie, it was a polyester fabric. So if you go back and watch the beginning of this show, it was just a polyester athletic wear. It was a t-shirt I bought. Shirley. That was named after my grandmother, Shirley. That's so cute. But now I'll think of you, Shirley. Terry. This would be really cute over a bathing suit. Strapless bra for sure, or a sports bra would be cute. Some of the sports bras have really thin straps, and if you find maybe a yellow one, like just say for this one, if I found a little yellow sports bra, that would look really cute under that. Yeah, I guess when I was mentioning playing tennis, yeah, you might need one of those. I don't know. It depends who's playing, right? Oh, Jane, I'll add it to my list. I've shown it a few times on Brother's YouTube channel and my own. I think I showed actually how to set it up. So if you have a hard time finding that video, let me know. I'll see if I can find it. Terry's going to leave the hem. Oh, slit in the sides would be fun, Susie. Leave it and tie a knot. Perfect. Oh, Karina, this as a dress would be so much fun. In fact, when I was thinking about doing this top, I originally said turn a t-shirt into a dress, but then I'd have to buy 2 shirts to make it long enough. Now, if you don't have a t-shirt, do this out of fabric. That would be fantastic. Okay, let's see. Can I do cover stitch on a serger or sewing machine? No. Cover stitch is a separate stitch. This is on the Brother cover stitch machine. They have 2 different cover stitch machines. The one I'm using is the double cover stitch. They also have just a cover stitch. Both of those will do that stitch. Now, if you don't have a cover stitch, you could use a twin needle, a decorative stitch, a zigzag stitch, anything like that. You just would want something that it could still make it stretch a little bit. All right, everyone, this was so much fun. So your schedule, oh, thanks, Zena. It's a drawstring threader. Oh, I should have known that, Zena. Oh, thanks, Lois. Thank you. Yes, you could, Terry. Do this out of fabric. I think that's why they called it like the pillowcase dress or something like that. All right, everyone. This was so much fun. So the schedule for the week, Fashion Sewing Club, I will see you at 2 today. I have a live show tomorrow on Behind the Scenes on my channel, and we're back on Brother. Let's see, tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. It's actually 2 p.m. tomorrow Eastern. And then Brother on Thursday at noon. And you want something to go with this cute top? Laura, I think it's Laura on Thursday. I have to double check. Let me check real quick. So I don't tell you that. Yes, it's Laura. And she made a beach bag out of a towel. So all you need on Thursday is a towel. So grab your t-shirt, make this top, and on Thursday I'll meet you back here and we're going to make a really cool towel. Yeah, really fun. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Nice to see you. Brother, thanks for letting me take over your page. Don't forget to use hashtag Brothers Sews, and I'll put Brothers' website up here. They have a ton of things on their blog, and there's actually a top that looks very similar to this for kids that had, I think it had a ribbon here. I think Tabitha did it. I'm not sure, but something like that. So if you look there, go to brothersews.com, scroll to the bottom. You can click on the crafting blog or the sewing blog, whichever one you prefer. And it's always nice to see you. Until next time, happy sewing.